Welcome back to the Ruck Shop's YouTube channel. Project Midnight is really underway. As you can see, the bike is coming together. Front end is done. Now we're on to the electrical. Today we're going to be doing the PSP harness. It's a plug-and-play harness as well as the Koso gauge. This gauge is going to cover your blinkers, high beams, your fuel rating, your mile per hour. It's going to cover everything, so it's going to be pretty sweet to have on there. There's also going to have a MET sending unit, so I can read the fuel levels to go along with the Koso gauge. We have the left control that's going to go on there. Basically, we're going to get this thing all set up. So if you haven't seen, we do have a play-by-play video for the PSP harness. It's a great harness, very easy to install, very affordable as well. And we'll get that set up, put on, and go through this whole bike. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. It's been really fun to see how it's coming along. The bike's looking fantastic. Let's go. Okay, so here you have your PSP GY6 harness for the Honda Ruckus. It has already rectifier CDI, starter solenoid, icebox relay, ignition plug with a fuse. In the back, the coil's already plugged in. So it basically allows you to be as plug and play as possible. Now we're also going to go with the left mini switch from the Ruck Shop. Looks like this, very clean. It's a direct plug-in, so right away it's just going to plug right into the harness, very easy. And then even for the Koso. So the Koso comes with a bunch of open wires like that. The PSP harness comes with instructions and pins and a pin clip to go ahead and put on all of these, or the ones that you're needed, and it's going to plug right into the PSP harness. So to know where I'm going to put this left control, I'm going to go ahead and put on our Vans grip for the left side. And you know it's for the left side because there's two size holes. There's a bigger hole for the throttle and a smaller one for the left side. Now, it's probably going to be tight to put on, so you're going to want to, usually we like to spray something on there like rubbing alcohol that will dry quick, or, just I'm just kidding, I didn't spit in there. Okay, so now that I know that I have the grip on, I'm going to go ahead and open this up with the little Allen head and bolt this on right next to the grip on the handlebar. I'm going to get a little Loctite on this bolt because GY6s are like Harleys, and one thing you're going to learn from this series, if anything, is Loctite. We probably say it 30 times between all the videos. Now I can go ahead and just kind of run this clip down the channel for right now and just let it hang. Next thing we can do is start laying out this harness, right? So we're going to have it go down the right side here, and then we'll come up and cut across and then follow back. And I'll get a little bit better shot for you guys. I know that's not the best angle. Okay, so you see the orange flash relay? I just put that right up on the battery tray. There's a little tab for it. It snaps right on there. So this I'm going to run all these together. Kind of push it up and under. Now this is not going to be a wire tuck or anything fancy. This is your basic setup here when it comes to this. We just want everything functioning and and good to go. Pull this out right now. Then I'm going to take one of our zip ties. There's a little hook right here where the factory harness had a little plastic tab on it, just to keep things in place. Just going to run a little tie through here so that while I'm putting everything where it needs to go, the harness isn't moving around and then all of a sudden it doesn't line up. This one down here is going to be for your fuel sending unit, which will have the Metropolitan one in the gas tank here. We have a ground power foot feed for the starter solenoid. And clear relay. So we'll wrap around and get stuff going on this side. So this left control connector is just going to plug in like so. And there's a bit of slack with the wires. I'm going to go ahead and run that down here. So we're going ahead and put the ground in next. We use one of these 4 frame bolts here. If you saw in previous videos, this is why we left this one open, so that we could use it as a ground and not have it powder coated. Put it through the 3 grounds here. And tighten this back up. Run this ground through, because this is going to go to the negative of the battery. So we're moving along on this, just kind of going through, seeing where the wires are left and the placement for each of these, where I want them to go before I start cleaning it up a little bit more. So this right here is our start button wires, which I'm going to leave right there because we're going to have the push button start, which is right here. Go ahead and open this up. So with the push button here, they give you a lot of wire, right? And it's going right here, and the clip for that is right here. So I'm actually gonna cut this probably just, I don't know, 5 inches out, and then I'm gonna use the pins supplied with the PSP harness to put the female clip on. So go ahead and do that right now. And here's the pins that we're using. They give you a little spool of them. You just slide it back and forth. And then the 2-pin connector. There we go. Put the factory screws. Into the push button starter. Now that's buttoned in. Actually gonna run this over, plug it in, and tuck it out of the way there. So now our push button start is all set to go. The next thing I was looking at here is our brake switch wires. So we have one set of wires here. They're coming from the master cylinder. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and pop those in. Good to go. And then we have another set of brake switch wires that we're gonna have to put on the left lever. I'll have to make those because it doesn't come with one from the factory with that on. We'll go ahead and do the clear relay next. And then what we're gonna do is get some 3M tape and go ahead and put that right there. We'll let it sit for right now. Let's actually still have the spare power and ground here. We just talked about that. And then starter solenoid. So I have that. So you can see me moving stuff in and out a lot. I'm just trying to create space and unwind things that might have gotten tangled up to make it a lot easier when it comes to tying all this off afterwards. Now, coming down off of here, you have a blue, orange, and green that are all bullet connectors female. That's for your blinkers, and then you have a green, brown, and purple. So the green's going to be a ground, purple and brown are going to be for your high-low. This is just going to be a single LED bar, no high-low. So it literally just has a power and ground. So I'm going to cut the wires for the headlight, and I'm going to pin it to go into this 6-pin male plug. So I should have a 6-pin female that I can go ahead and use and plug that in. So out of this clip, like I said, we have purple, brown, and green. I know green is going to be the ground, so it's going to go to the black for the lights. So for this one, it's going to be the top corner. Pin that in. Now I could technically go to either brown or purple because on the switch, this little toggle up top here is going to be either on and off now for this LED bar. If you have the factory headlights, it's just going to plug right in, so you won't have to do anything like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it to brown. Run this clip back through. that in. Headlight is all done. So we'll go ahead and plug the CDI and the rectifier back in now. There's that. Now this rectifier is going to give you a lot of spare wire. So I'm going to use the factory bolt that was here to mount the rectifier in place. Put a little bit of 3M on this clear relay because I'm going to stick it up on this bracket here. This way, if you ever have to take your battery box off, see if it's getting power, if it's working, you'll be able to see the LED if it's on or off. Okay, so now we have the starter solenoid. Put the washers on there. It's got a washer, a lock washer, and then a nut. It'll work really good if you put the other wire on. Now I do recommend you tape this up because you don't want these touching any other metal. This will arc out. So there is electrical tape somewhere. Okay, so now we have this starter solenoid there. The wires for it are right here. We got ourselves another situation where we got a lot of wire, right? And so the solution for that is going to be I'm going to trim the starter solenoid wire and then just put a new clip on it. Like I said, this isn't like a wire tuck bike. It's basically what most of you or some of you would do to your bike. I mean, realistically, you can put this on just how it is. You have to do anything extra. It's not necessary. For this clip, we have yellow and green. You're gonna match yellow with yellow. There we go. Snip, snip. I don't know why I just said that. And green with green. Okay, so we have most of this hooked up right now. I think just about all of it, except for this other brake switch. The next thing I'm going to bolt up is the Koso. So we have the clip-on bars and then the Koso adapter that we made. So we'll go ahead and grab the Koso. Right here. And then actually what I'm going to do first is pin this Koso out. So we use the PSP instructions and then go on ahead and make the clip for it with the provided middle. There it is. Provided pin. Okay, so now I have the Koso gauge wired up. I'll just follow the instructions that PSP provides. It tells you orange to orange, blue to blue, orange with black tracer to green, purple to yellow, green to black, black to brown and red that tie together. The other ones are not used and left open. Now people are like, oh, it's gonna be okay. These aren't hot wires. It's coming from the gauge, so you're gonna be all right. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and line up this gauge up top here, and then we also provide 2 Allen head bolts for that gauge. And I'm gonna put some Loctite on those, of course, and throw them on. So now I'll take the Koso wires, drop them down. Okay, Koso gauge install. Alright, so now we're moving on to the back half of the harness. We have it running up through the channel, going underneath. I'm going to run this parallel with the stretch bar here. I'm just going to follow the stretch bar back. So there's certain wires like this ground wire I'm going to leave out, the coil wire, there's another ground that goes to the back of the starter, and then we have the starter wire itself. And then you have your stator as well. So One of the wires here is going to go to the valve cover. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up, put that ground on. Like, actually going to get you guys a better angle. So I'm just loosening up this top left valve cover bolt. And that's going to get the smaller of the ground wires, which is right here. So that's on there. We're going to run the stator wires. I like to run them underneath the bottom of the mount. There's a little bit of a gap there. So you're going to get those under. Just pull it through. And then you can just go ahead and plug in the stator. You got red and black to red and black. And blue and white to red. Now, for the starter, the GY6 came factory with this little wiring harness on it. For the starter, we just cut off the tab. We used the Phillips head that's in there, and then this part acts as a backing nut. So I'll go ahead and put that on. Alright, so you can see here I have the stator wires going under to the pickup. The only thing is the stator harness has a lot of slack to it, right? So I want to shorten that up just to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to stop it right where the tape finishes there. I'm going to cut there, repin it, and then put the clip in.
Cool. Now we have all this shortened right here. We're gonna go ahead and throw some tape on it and then tie it up, and it should be all set. So one thing I'm also going to do is, this coil is extremely long. So I'm just going from here, from the coil down here to the top. So what this is a twist on coil, these stock GY6 ones. So you turn it counterclockwise and it will, might have to give it a little tug too, but it's actually threaded in there. There we go. You can see. And inside here, if I can get this off, I'm not gonna try. But inside here is actually like a, almost like a self-tapping type screw. So you can cut that, put in there. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut this down a lot shorter. And then we'll go ahead and screw it back in. So the best way to figure this out is I'm gonna take the cap here, push that in, lock it in place. Then I'll figure out where my coil placement is going to be, and how I will run that wire. Now that I have that done, I made the cut. I'm going to go ahead and kind of put some force on it, press, and then turn clockwise. And eventually you're just going to hit a stop point, and that's when you know it's good and locked in place. There we go. Okay, so I have the coil up and underneath here in the middle, like so. I'll button that up. And then from there, I'm going to shorten the coil wires because they're super long. And we have a pin kit for all of this that we sell on the website. So I'll go ahead and put the link for that as well in the description. All these parts for this build you will be able to find on the website. So this is something that we will have a PDF for. And you can use this if you want to duplicate how this bike came out. Okay, so there you have it. The harness is ran. We have the whole front end set up. Goes down, runs into the channel, comes underneath. We have the coil there, and then the harness follows the stretch bar back. The taillight is up there. We have the ground going to the starter here, and then the starter cable right there. So it is all set. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know electrical isn't the most fun to watch, but the next one will be really good, where you're going to see the bike really come together once they start putting on all the aesthetics and the dress-up pieces. Alright, so one thing that you can do, or I like to do now that I have this all wired up, is I'm going to turn it on. I see the LED bar is on. Good sign. It's pointed a little high, but we can correct that after. The green light is on the clear relay, which is good. Since I have the brake switches hooked up, I can go ahead and hit the brake lever and then tap the start button, and I should essentially have the starter turn. There you go. The taillight's not hooked up, so the blinkers won't work, but if the high-low works, I should be able to hit this toggle, and after hitting this toggle, it in fact does work. And then the horn, we're good. So everything's wired up good. We're all set. Now like I said, it's time for Dakota and Savannah to come through and put this bike together, get it looking really good. Hope you like the series. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.